Hello and welcome to the Limitless Masterclass. I'm going to go ahead and start letting people in from the waiting room. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Emre, Lauren, Nicole, Tara. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited to have you all here. We're just having a few more people joining, so creating that space for them to join. But as you come in, go ahead and drop your name and where you're joining from in the chat. And then if you want to share what you're most excited about learning, you can. Okay, I just got the view to see everyone. So, hi, Nicole. Hi, Karen. So good to see your faces.
Oops.
Hi, Ethan. Welcome. Welcome, Ethan. How's everyone doing today? A-okay? Happy to hear. Greetings from Turkey, Clinton, Ontario. Amazing. London, Ontario, Colorado. Hi, Teo. Welcome. We're just giving everyone a sec to join, but feel free to drop where you are joining from in the chats. Nicole from London, Ontario. Amazing. Karen as well. Stratford. Amazing. Teo, Barcelona. Hello, hello. Welcome. Okay, we have Haley joining right now. Hello. Ah, so nice to see everyone all together. Hi, Haley.
Hi, hello everyone. Oh, I see some people I know. It's so good to see you guys. Oh my God, I love this.
I
So
know
cool.
it's like worlds colliding. I absolutely love it.
Oh, so good.
Amazing. Okay, so I'll keep this open. We might have some more people drop in as we get going, but if you haven't already, feel free to just put in the chat where you're joining from, just so we can start to see we're worldwide, right? We have Turkey, Barcelona, Ontario, Colorado. Just so cool to see how we can all still be connected through energy, through time, through space, through the internet. And to be here in Michigan, amazing. Um, yeah, and it just warms my heart to have all of us here together. So I'd love for us to just start. Feeling all sorts of big feels this morning, grateful. Likewise, thank you, Nicole. So you can keep your cameras on or off as we go through. I personally love to see everyone, but do as you wish, do as you need. And I'd love to just start with a little bit of dropping into the heart, into the body, because a lot of the work that I do is just that. So I love to start there. So when you are ready, you can close your eyes and just come into a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. And before you start to control your breath in any way or even your body, just start to notice where you're at right now in this moment. As you are coming into a room, maybe with some new faces, familiar faces, learning something maybe you know a lot about, maybe you're here to learn new things, maybe you came with a very specific intention. But how does all of that show up in your body right now? As you take a scan from the crown of your head, through your face, over your neck, shoulders, down your arms and your hands, into your chest, your stomach, down your back, into your pelvic floor, hips, down your legs, into your ankles, feet, and toes. And maybe just through this gentle awareness practice, you felt a small relaxation, and maybe not. We're not looking for anything here. We're just seeing what's going on beneath the surface. How's the weather inside of me today? And with this awareness, let's connect to the breath now, knowing that that's our portal into the body. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, feeling the belly, the rib cage, the heart up to the collarbones expand. Hold at the top for 3, 2, 1, and with a sweet sigh, let it out. We'll do that 3 more times in through the nose. Just feel your entire body expand as you bring in this vital life force energy into your body. More prana, more prana, more life, more life. Hold it in, connect to all of that. And then let it go, relax. And 2 more just like that. And as you breathe in, breathe that air into any areas of tension you may have noticed at the beginning. Let those areas receive more love, more life, more awareness, and hold it. And then let it go. And 1 more just like that. Making this the biggest, deepest. Taking whatever it is that you need in this moment, gift that to yourself. Imagine receiving it, imagine holding it. And then spread it on the exhale. And then just bring some movement into the body, maybe a little bit of shaking, maybe some stretching. Just coming back. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Limitless Masterclass. So excited for all of you to be here. And for those that I have not met before, I am Kendal St. Clair. And who am I? So the number one thing to know about me is I'm extremely silly, and I am a capybara lover. I feel like that's actually a very important fact to know about me. And Emre here actually bought me capybara socks right before he moved back to Turkey. And a few other things about me. So I'm a quantum healer, a Reiki master, and a hypnotherapist, and a trauma-informed somatic guide. So my biggest purpose on earth is helping heart-led change makers convert their lives, going from is this it, which is a place that I lived in for a very long time, to holy shit, to is this really my life? Am I really that lucky to wake up to living this dream in every area, right? And what comes with that? But when I'm not living this life, which is my purpose, I am a sangria lover. I'm a big nerd. I am a sun chaser, a camper, a yoga teacher, a rollerblader. I was very emo for a very long time, so that part of me also still lives deep within me. And if you love pop punk music, then we are friends from the get-go. I love cooking and reading my book and just being in my hammock and camping and being in nature. So, those are some things about me because I know when we do master classes, we're like, who is this person that I'm signing up to learn from, to get to know? And I don't ever want it to be this one-sided, right? Just I'm gonna be here and preach, preach, preach. Like I'm human too, so let's be here. Let's make this interactive. Let's make it fun where we're speaking to each other, we're sharing how we feel. If you have questions as I'm going through, please put them in the chat. I love to answer questions. And if there's anything that you're like, oh, me too, even just looking at that, put it in the chat. Like, I love to interact. I love to see these mirrors and be that permission slip for each person to be their authentic self, because that's truly why I think we're here, is to find out who we are and then just live that to the fullest. And that is what has created this masterclass and just Limitless in general. So I know we have a big part of the Uplift Lifestyle community on right now, which is so exciting. But for those of you that don't know Haley, Haley, I think I started working with Haley like 3 or 4 years ago now when I was living in San Diego. And I had come across her Instagram for the grace of God, is all I can say, because I have no idea how. But she was just posting about being, was it a tycoon at that moment? And I was just like, she is speaking my language. She is just, oh, I love her so much. But for those that don't know her, so she's a public speaker, an author, a channel, and she is just a certified badass. And last year, right around my birthday, she asked me to start working for Uplift Lifestyle, which for me was a part of one of those like limitless miracles that someone that you work with, that you look up to, sees you and is like, join my team, join my mission. And that's where Limitless started. And so it started out as these weekly classes that we were offering with breath, sound, somatics, and has since transformed. But we wanted to gift this masterclass as a way to just show who am I, what is it that I do, but also as a gift. But Haley, I know I've spoken quite a lot, but I'd love for you to just say a few words to come on and introduce yourself.
I would love to. I'm so happy to be here and receive. I already feel like just in that introduction where we got called into our bodies, I was like, oof, I needed this. I already feel shifted, and I'm sure everyone feels that. And already you're probably, for those of you from my community who do know me and know me well and have worked with me, you're probably already like, oh, I see why Kendall is on your team. Like
Mhm.
I feel why she's on the team and you get it now. So I'm just super excited to be here. And to the new faces, hi. I hope to see more of you. I would love to hear from you, connect with me, let's talk. I want to say a few things about Kendall and yeah, why she's on the team and why we're offering this. So when you started working with me about 3 years ago, I could definitely identify that you were someone who's embodied. And I think that that's the most important thing when it comes to this work. There's a lot of people who want to stand on, a pedestal and preach things. And then there's the people that want to actually live in truth and experience, and the people that want to actually transmute whatever they're experiencing into something that's powerful, not only for themselves, but for the collective. And I saw that in you. And then when I was able to understand your gifts, I had just an intuitive knowing that you were going to join the team, but then I got to experience your work. And immediately it was oh yeah, this was the right decision. You and everyone's about to experience what you do today. So I won't say too many words because it's also hard to language the quantum work that you do, but you bring so many different modalities into one experience. And you're similarly to me, you're intuitively reading what the client needs in any moment. And you just have all these tools that you can pull from. And you're doing it not in a way that's like, here's my process, here's what we do. It's more like, what does the client need in that moment? And I know you're going to guide us today I'm so excited. I'm so particular about who I let in my life, who I would have on the team. I'm so particular about who I let do energy work on me because I believe I'm super precious and we all are. And yeah, there's no one else that I'd rather receive from. So thank you. I'm honored to have you and to everyone here from my community. It's so good to see your beautiful faces and to all the new faces. I can't wait to get to know you better. And let's all just drop in, let's all surrender and let Kendall guide us because although, it can be distracting because we're using technology, I really encourage and invite you to let the rest of the world melt away. Make sure your phone's on Do Not Disturb. Be here. There's nothing more important than you. There's nothing more important than your experience today. And although this is a free masterclass, people could be paying thousands of dollars for what Kendall's about to give us. So let's really show up and receive it. And let's fucking go. I'm ready.
Mm, the
Yeah.
grounded Taurus energy I needed on the second day of Gemini season. Thank you for those beautiful words and reflections. So, yes, amazing. So, all right. So, this training for you is for you if you've been feeling lost or overwhelmed when it comes to manifestation and success, if you're tired of starting and stopping and self sabotaging your desires, and if you're ready to expand your nervous system capacity for love, wealth, joy, and success, and start effortlessly magnetizing all of your desires. And I feel like this slide is just so important to know, is this me? Yes or no, right? And just start seeing yourself in this work and seeing why it is for you, because the gifts are there when we allow the world to be that mirror and say, ah, yes, I am feeling that way. Yes, I am needing that thing. And so today we're going to go over, just so your conscious mind can take a little break and go through the process. I'll teach you the energetics of manifestation and success and how your frequency is formed. And then from there, we're going to learn how you can shift your frequency using my signature method, the clam method, and how to just start effortlessly magnetizing your desires. And I'll show you what quantum healing is because, as Haley had said, it's not always easy to put that into words, which is why these masterclasses are also helpful to understand what is actually happening on the back end that my logical mind can't really connect the dots, but we know is happening. And so we're going to dive into my 3 favorite secrets of manifestation today. The first is that even if you aren't a spiritual guru, you still have energetic powers. And I love this one. We're going to dive into all of them, but because this one specifically is letting you know, like, I'm not going to say I'm not special because I'm very special, but we are all very special and we all have powers. It's just, are you choosing to tune into them or not? And so that's secret number 1. Secret number 2 is once you start to understand how this works, you have the power to shift wherever you are in your life internally. And secret 3 is that it doesn't take hours a day to do it. So even if you're not just making this your whole life's work, you don't need to in order to see rapid, lasting results. And so why manifestation and nervous system regulation? I'm going to just share a little bit about my story before we dive into these 3 secrets so that you can see as well, number 1, why I'm so passionate about this, but that it works, right? When I first started doing this work, I had no idea that I had high functioning anxiety, depression. I was very aware that I was dealing with a problem with alcohol and food, but that was about it. And I had a very successful job, a relationship that most people would say, oh, you guys seem so perfect. I was fit in my body, but I had a horrible relationship to food. I was battling a very gnarly relationship with alcohol and had been hospitalized 3 times with alcohol poisoning within 2 year span. And although my life on the outside, if you didn't know me too well, it looked like I was successful, I was getting promoted, I was making money, I was traveling the world, I was living with my partner, I was miserable. And that's when I had started to meditate And from the first time I started practicing yoga, I realized, okay, there's something deeper, and it shifted, and it led me then to wanting to make a change and taking control of my life. So I went through this entire process where I learned I could manifest, and I manifested an entirely new relationship, a job that paid me like 3 times as more. I was even more fit, I had new opportunities, and I was still miserable. Miserable. I was living in San Diego. And this is when I started learning about the nervous system. And I share this with you because you may be at any point of these journeys and your manifestation journey. But as you're creating your life, if it's either not landing, it's because your nervous system isn't on board. And we're going to find out why today. If you're feeling that you're still self sabotaging yourself, it's again from your nervous system. Or if you're just feeling these periods of I'm so happy at one point and then I'm so stressed, overwhelmed, and depressed, and I can't understand why if I'm living my dream, it all comes back to the nervous system. And so I'm going to explain this even more why, but the reason I am so passionate about this is because I now live in Barcelona. I moved here 2 years ago, and within those 2 years, I've met my soulmate. I moved in with him at the beginning of this month. I've grown my business from literally nothing. My very first event had 60 people at it, where I was speaking bilingually, English and Spanish, and I moved to Barcelona knowing zero Spanish. And I just applied these methodologies, and my life has never been the same. And I won't say that it's roses every single day because this is work, right? Being happy takes work, it takes devotion to yourself, but it is so much better than where I was before. And when I look at my life now, like I almost can't believe it. So this is the gift I want to share with everyone. And so I tell you this because if I can do it, you can do it too. And expanding your nervous system capacity and activating your frequency is something, as I've already shared, we all hold. So enough about me now, and let's dive into how. And as I've said, if you have any questions as I'm going, the chat's open. So please put any questions in here, and then I'll ask you as well different things that you can answer. So, secret one, even if you aren't a spiritual guru, you still have energetic powers. So, put a 1 in the chat if you are like, yeah, I'm already connecting to my energetic powers, even if maybe you identify as a spiritual guru, maybe not, but have you connected with your energetic powers? Yes or no? 1, 1, awesome. Amazing. So happy to see that. And why is that? It's because everything on earth is made of energy. And some of this may be very basic, but we're going to go very deep. So I want you to understand every level. I love all of the ones that I'm seeing. And so every physical and non-physical thing has its own vibration on earth, which means the chair you're sitting in has its own vibration. And there was a way that that chair came into your field, right? And now it's your chair because it was at one point a vibrational match for you. But on top of that, every thought, every feeling, every outcome, and every possibility in the world has its own frequency. And so our frequency starts to become built through a collective sum of these individual vibrations. So from each thought that we think, each feeling that we feel, and through that, you start to magnetize to you good things or things that maybe you don't want subconsciously. But your frequency is like a signal that you're broadcasting to the world. So you are constantly attracting people, experiences, and relationships that match that. And so what I love is looking at emotions as frequencies, because when we start to see where we vibrate the most, we can start to see maybe why we attract certain things. And this is the law of attraction. And so like attracts like is putting that in the most simple terms, but it really is just understanding where you are vibrating most is what you are attracting. So it's not to say to never feel these low vibrational feelings because we need these, right? We have to process them as a human in order to feel healthy and happy and have a regulated nervous system. However, we need to also be vibrating in these higher frequencies more. And so, this secret number one is just to show you you are made of energy. And this chart proves it. Even just your logical mind, even your emotions have an energy, even your thoughts have an energy, your intention has an energy. So just start to see right now yourself as a magician because you can work with this energy and you can tap into this land of frequencies, this world of possibilities. And so, secret two is once you understand how it works, which we're going to dive in more here, you have the power to shift your vibration. So, we know how your frequency is formed, right? We all have a frequency. But then the question is, how does that become formed outside of the collective sum of what I think and how I feel on a daily basis? And what many people don't realize is that although we can change our frequency as adults, the core of your frequency is actually deeply influenced by your childhood and the way that your nervous system operates. And so while there is a huge energetic component to your frequency, it is largely affected by your physical body and by your ability to self-regulate when you feel stress. And so it's these earliest experiences from your childhood that were based on how your needs were met that shape how your nervous system starts to respond to the world. And the reason this is so interesting is because your nervous system responds to everything. It responds to money, to opportunities, to food, to drinks, to colors. Everything within you, your nervous system is always providing feedback for you. And these are shaped from your earliest experiences. And so when we understand this, we can start to get a little bit of curiosity around how is it that I'm attaching to the world and interacting with the world through the subconscious mind, which again is created in childhood, through the state of my nervous system, and through my energetic frequency. Because these three need to be working in unison in order for us to be truly tapping into that limitless potential. And so we'll stay here on this slide for a moment, but I'm going to explain a bit about the polyvagal theory and just the nervous system in general and how that relates to these frequencies. So there are three states within the nervous system. When you are in ventral vagal, which is when you are calm, you're grounded, and you feel safe. That is the biggest thing, connection and safety. And this is when, as you can see, joy, groundedness, curiosity, compassion, these are high vibrating frequencies. When we start to get triggered, we go into sympathetic with fear, anxiety, anger, irritation. And where do those land? Further down. And then even more so, if our nervous system does not come into regulation after being in the state of fight or flight, we can go into shame, depression, shutdown, hopelessness, which are even further down on these frequency chart. And so when you look here, the reason this is so important when we think of manifestation is because the energy that we're emitting is actually coming based on the level of security and safety that we feel within our nervous system. And so I'm curious here, as you read this chart, where do you feel that you sit most just throughout the day? A 1 for ventral vagal, a 2 for sympathetic, and a 3 for dorsal vagal, which is shut down. Two, yep. So normal. 1, last couple of weeks, 1, 60-40, 1, 2. Okay, amazing. And in this too, yes, we want our nervous systems to shift, right? Because the point isn't either to just constantly be in this joy, openness, expansion, because that would mean that our nervous system isn't trying to keep us safe. So it's good to get triggered. It's good to have fear. It's good to be even leaning into that edge of expansion and for something to feel spicy and scary, right? But it's where am I spending most of my time? And an unhealthy nervous system would go like this, and it would take a long time to get activated and then deactivated. Whereas a healthy nervous system is able to move in and out freely of these states. And so, knowing that, knowing how our frequency is formed, as well as just having a little bit of awareness around, okay, where is it that I'm sitting? And therefore, what are the frequencies that I'm emitting? We can now start to see what is it that I'm responding to, right? And your nervous system responds to everything, as I was saying: friendships, food, money, success, self-worth, pleasure, joy, even our own self-worth comes from our nervous system. And so when we think of that, that brings us into secret 3, which is, even if you don't spend hours a day meditating, you can still raise your frequency and receive whatever your desires are. And this is super important because even if we have this awareness, even if you stay in shutdown, we're not stuck there. I don't want you to feel confined by the states of your nervous system. You can change them and you can start to regulate. And so we know now that a regulated nervous system equals being in this frequency of receptivity, of openness, right? Of that alignment of where our desires are coming in when we are vibrating at those higher frequencies. But what would you say that both of these things have in common? A regulated nervous system and that receptivity frequency. You can type that in the chat, you can say it out loud. Even if you don't know, I'm so curious what everyone thinks. Open, allowing, chilling the F out. Yes. You know, so safety. It's a deep sense of trust. And so this is what being limitless is all about. It's feeling safe. It's leaning into this deep sense of just trust in yourself and in the universe so that you don't need to stress. You don't need to fear. You don't need to feel that shame or that guilt for too long because you trust that it's all going to work out as it's meant to. And as great as that sounds, it's like, okay, amazing, safety. What does that have to do with manifestation all of the time? Well, when we think of self-sabotage, it's knowing that self-sabotage is actually a protection mechanism of the nervous system. So if there is a way that you are acting against your desires, it's because a part of you actually doesn't feel safe, and it's feedback from your nervous system against this desire because the nervous system doesn't believe that receiving this will be safe. So today, what we're about to learn is how to create that felt sense of safety, how to truly dial into when is it that I'm not feeling safe, and how can I make sure to anchor that in and bring myself back to safety. And so from these two again, these are the two frequencies that I like to look at the most, the fear frequency and the trust frequency. And I just try to keep it very, very simple on asking myself throughout the day, which frequency am I flowing in right now? Am I feeling closed? Am I chasing? Am I obsessed with this manifestation? Am I trying to force it or control something in my life? And is that causing tension or urgency or scarcity? Is it causing me to feel alone and repel what I want? Or am I leaning into trust, where I'm detached from the outcome? I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. I know my desires are inevitable, and I'm just opening, surrendering, and softening to that. trusting my intuition, letting it guide me, trusting in faith, in my own faith, and knowing I'm at peace and I'm magnetic. So, reading these, I'm curious which area or which frequency do you feel you're generally sitting in? Maybe you want to think of even one area of your life of why have I joined this masterclass and which frequency am I sitting in that area? Hmm. Flip-flopping, frustration, and surrender. Open often and sometimes, urgency or illusion of urgency. Yep. Amazing awareness, scarcity, amazing, amazing awareness, everyone. Okay. And so chasing, yep. Thank you for sharing. Chasing, forcing, trust, and surrender. Yeah, and we go back and forth, right? And that's okay. It's always a practice, and these tools are just to give you that sovereignty to know when you're in one and how to come back. So we've learned this now, and maybe you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, great. Maybe you're even believing in yourself a little bit more. You have this awareness, you know that you have the power to shift, but how do we do that? And this is where it's going to get fun. So I will say that healing your nervous system and expanding your frequency of attraction and just expanding your capacity to hold your desires, it requires commitment. It requires compassion with yourself as we teeter totter back and forth and knowing it's okay that I did that. It's okay that I made a mistake. It's okay that I acted out of alignment with how I want to act or integrity with who I want to be. And it requires that patience of I made a mistake, but I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to move on. I'm going to realign and move forward towards who I want to be. And so through these, know that it is 100% doable to heal. And it doesn't need to take years. And this is because of neuroplasticity. And this is your brain and your nervous system's natural ability to rewire itself. And that is why visualization is so important. That is why somatic exercises are so important and potent, because we are able to shift the way that our entire system fires and wires. And that is our natural state of being. And I share that because I think that's pretty fucking cool that I can wholeheartedly say I have complex childhood trauma and I still am working through a lot of the things in my relationship and in my business from my past. But the thing that keeps me going is number one, seeing the growth that I have made and also knowing that I have the ability to change. I have the natural ability to heal myself and to come back because we are nature and we go through these cycles and we can heal ourselves. So I hope you can take that as well as you have the natural ability to heal yourself and shift anything that you desire. Thank you, Sarah. So we're going to dive into the clam method right now, and this is where I'm going to guide you through some practices. And this may sound super funny, the clam method, but it just came out that those were the letters that I use of clarity, liberation, alignment, and magnetism. But the way that these align with my work are all below. So using the subconscious mind, somatics, energetics, trauma release work, quantum healing, hypnotherapy, the brain, the nervous system, the aura, the mind, the body, the soul, however you want to look at it. These are my three modalities that I always guide people through to reach this state of magnetism, of openness, and honestly, of trust and safety. And one other thing with the clam method is I was looking up the spiritual meaning of the clam because I was like, I need to give a little something for myself to not sound so silly saying the clam method. And it was actually really beautiful because if you think of clams or oysters or anything that sits at the bottom of the ocean, they're there filtering. right? So they're in the shadows, they're in the darkness, and they're doing shadow work essentially. They're filtering the ocean out of all of the stuff that it doesn't need. And then when you open it up, there's a pearl on the inside. And so I like to think of myself as that pearl that I'm constantly filtering out, going through my shadows, cleaning out of my brain, out of my body, out of my own energy, whatever I don't need, and just becoming shinier and shinier and shinier of a beautiful little pearl. So think of yourself as that pearl when things get hard. This is just more stuff for you to filter through to come out being the most beautiful, shiny, eloquent, precious, royal thing possible. All right, my love. So choose one area of your life where you're currently feeling limited and write that in the chat. And this is where we're going to dive in. Finances. Yep, this is a big one. And while we're here and everyone's typing, if you have any questions as well, feel free to throw them in the chat now or take yourself off of mute. Money, work, money. All right. I love it. I needed to hear that we have the natural way to heal ourselves and the clarity to come back to see our growth. Yes, so beautiful. Discouraged in career. Okay. So now that you have this area, why can't you have what you want in this area of your life? And what are you doing or not doing to self-sabotage yourself from receiving that? And this is clarity. This is us just being real and raw and honest with ourselves. Love, relationship, partnership. Yep. Relationships. Yep. It's all connected, my love. So you're going to see you are the center field of it all. And the more you heal that relationship to yourself, the better everything around you gets. Home and family life. Thank you all for sharing. Yeah. Lack of time. Fatigue, loss of connection to my creative self. Yep. I convince myself it's not important to make money, and there's a sensation that I'm not yet ready to expand. Yep. The self sabotage I recognize most in myself and my clients is escaping when the unknown arises. Oh, yeah. And moving back into safekeeping. It happens in sneaky ways at higher levels. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for sharing, and keep these coming in if you are still typing. Okay. So this is where it gets to be uncomfortable sometimes because we have to take radical responsibility for our own lives. And that at first can be freaking so uncomfortable because it's easy to say, well, my frequency is formed and my nervous system was shaped based off of my childhood experiences. So nothing is my fault, right? My trauma is not my fault. The way I am is not my fault. And yes, I love this, Hayla. I can feel everyone shifting from these declarations. Oh yeah, from this awareness. It's amazing. And so from this, we start to say, well, that's just the way I am, right? And it starts to feel real. Like these beliefs start to feel like a fact. I don't have enough time, period. I'm simply not good enough. It's just not that important. I'm scared. I shouldn't go there. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. That in itself is a limit. right? Because the answer is always within us. And so there comes a point where we get to decide, I'm no longer going to be this victim. I have the clarity now of where I want to be, why I can't have it, and what I'm doing. And so from this clarity, where do we go? Right? And that's where liberation comes in. But before we can liberate ourselves, we have to say, I and I alone am responsible for the change in my life. It is up to me. So I'd love to get a yes or a hell yes in the chat from you just making that declaration. I and I alone am the one responsible for my change. Yes, amazing. Yes, yes, I'm changing. Amazing. Absolutely yes. Fuck yeah. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Amazing. And just feel that shift right now. Like, feel the shift that comes just from you making a declaration. I'm going to do this thing for myself because that's your inner child being seen. That's your nervous system feeling safe that it can trust you to show up. And so breathe into that for just a second and feel that shift, feel that opening. Now we're going to dive into liberation. I am the creator. I can create differently. I love it. And so we now know, okay, what is this reason? What is this belief? What is this limit that I have created? And we're going to play around with this limit within the nervous system. And so this can get a little bit uncomfortable if you have not dropped into the body before. And so go to the pace that feels right for you. Go to the capacity that your nervous system can handle in this moment. And so I'm going to invite you to bring your hands over your chest right now into a butterfly. And you can keep your eyes open for this practice, or you can close them. Open will keep you more grounded in the moment. But before you start tapping, just feel your 2 feet on the ground and look around the room. Familiarize yourself with where you are. As you breathe deeply, and just drop in. That you know where you are, you're safe. There's no threat, there's no harm around you. Looking up, down, side to side, front and back. And then when you're ready, you can start tapping one hand and then the other. Or you can tap both at the same time and just start to repeat to yourself out loud what that limiting belief is that you have about why you can't have what you want. Even if that belief is, I'm scared, or I don't know what's coming, I don't have the time, I'm not enough. Just keep repeating that over and over to yourself. It may be getting uncomfortable, but just let it show up in your body. This is where the change work comes. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and just put in the chat, how does this belief show up in your body? And that may be tension in the chest or the legs or the throat or the shoulders. Maybe a racing heart. It may even be numbness or shame or hiding. Tension around the solar plexus. Amazing awareness. Tears. Yep. It's all feedback from your nervous system. Tension through my spine, tightening, feeling unsafe, belly clenching. The skin on my chest gets red, shoulders tight, heart and throat tightness. Okay, my loves. Pressure in my head. So you can keep a one hand on your heart and just bring that resourceful touch back. And just remind yourself that you're safe. We're just tapping into this feeling and seeing what does it want to show you, because we're expanding our capacity for it. And this is where we become free. We create space for the nervous system to actually feel and connect with the sensation, with this belief. And so I'm curious, now that you've felt this feeling, how often, if you had to put a percent out of 100, how often would you say that you feel this feeling in your life when it comes to this area? When you think of money or relationships? Do you think you're there 50% of the time, 60% of the time, 20% of the time, 80%? Okay. 70, 60. Yeah, and it will probably be on that higher end since this limit is there, 75. Okay. Amazing awareness, 60 to 70, 80. Okay. 80. Okay. How's everyone feeling? I know that was probably not that fun, but how are we feeling just through this process? So far, so good. Everyone with me? Yeah? Head nods. Okay. We're going to liberate this now and go into some alignment. Amazing. Thank you, Lauren. And so our next process in the clam method is coming into alignment. And so it's, how do we start to work with this? Hopeful and excited. Amazing. How do we go from limited to limitless? And so with this, we're going to do one more somatic practice, but we're going to start to play around with both energies and just see how they feel in the nervous system. So I want you to think now about what it is that you desire. Like, what is that big vision thing? Is it receiving a ton of money, maybe even have an amount? Is it receiving that lover? Is it having that deep, deep intimacy? And just think of what that is. And start to, once again, once you have that, bring that butterfly back onto your chest. Take a deep breath in. And just start to say whatever that thing is as you tap. And just think about receiving all of that money or having that close partnership. And stepping into this unfamiliar territory of getting the thing that you've wanted for so long. It's finally here. And without talking ourselves into or out of it, it's just letting it, what would it feel like for it to come? When you're ready, you can open your eyes and just notice in your body once more what's happening. How did that show up in your body? I'm curious. Did it feel similar or did it feel different? And there's no right or wrong. Inviting pure inner peace, ability to move, tears with relaxation, open to receiving. nervous, resistant. Super normal. Again, feedback from the nervous system. Optimistic. And so, what we can start to see here is number one, the reason we always work first with, okay, what feels uncomfortable, what feels unrealistic, is to create space for what would feel good. But it also shows us that the nervous system doesn't know between what's good and exciting and what's bad and scary. Excitement is excitement. Expanding the capacity is expanding the capacity, good or bad, right? And so we have to create space for all of the experiences in order to hold more and in order to lean in to that frequency. And so perhaps you were starting to feel more open, or perhaps you were still like, why do I still feel afraid when I think of this thing, when I think of this lover, right? Like I'm saying, oh, I moved in with my partner, and half the time I come in my office and I'm hiding because I'm avoidant. And I have to be like, you're safe. That's your partner. That's your boyfriend. He loves you. You're good, because my nervous system is still questioning, am I truly safe when I have this? And I share this with you because shifting into alignment is having this awareness and using this awareness to then decide, okay, how do I want to move forward from this with the feedback that I have, with the awareness that I have around this? Will I stay stuck or will I shift into that feel good feeling, right? And so what we've done is just a very, very small bit of the work that I do to just help you see feedback from your nervous system and how you can see how, as we think of things, it affects our nervous system. We get feedback, it affects how we feel, right? And then from that feeling, you are vibrating at a frequency and you are attracting whatever is aligned to that. And so just in these short, I think we did that whole practice in 10 minutes, you were able to just see the shift, right? Whether positive or negative, you were able to see what is happening in my nervous system. And so this is the power that I want you to leave with us with today. Thank you, Haley. Is knowing you have that power to shift and you have the power to go within. You have the power to understand your nervous system, your body, and what it needs in order to reach that next level of what it is that you truly want, to tap into that limitless potential. And when you start to shift, and I'm not going to go too far into this, but this is where quantum healing takes place. This is where you get to choose that frequency of fear or trust. And we're constantly choosing fear or trust, fear or trust. And from that, our reality is then shifting, and we are leaping through timelines, collapsing time and space through the frequency that we choose to vibrate at. And that is where we either get more close, more aligned to what we desire, or maybe further or somewhere in the middle, right? Depending on how quickly can I come back to safety, how quickly can I develop that awareness, and how quickly can I realign to what I want. And when we decide, okay, I'm going to do the reparation, I'm going to expand my capacity, I'm going to align my energy to receive, that's where magnetism comes in. That's where this fourth step of love, money, limitlessness, the land of miracles, things that you could never even imagine start to pour in, because you have made that decision to be the safety that you needed for yourself and take radical responsibility for your life. So I hope that's what you can leave with today, is that place of just deciding that from this moment forward, things are working for you instead of to you. That you can decide right now that you are worthy of love, you are worthy of abundance, of wealth, of clients, of growth. You are worthy of a sexy partner, of a life that makes your panties wet and your heart's full, because you are. And the moment you decide that, that's when the universe works with you. that's when the universe meets you where you're at and says yes, because that is where you become limitless. And so that is what limitless is. I think you've gotten a taste of it now, of what's available to you in this one life as you tap into this potential, to this field. I love that this is landing with you, Jesse. And know that it only comes when you decide. So you might be right now on the fence of like, do I dive in? Do I scratch the surface? Do I really feel this wherever you're sitting? And maybe you're like, fuck yes, this is what I absolutely know to be true for me. And I am ready to flip that script and live my limitless life. And if that's where you are feeling, if you are ready to take this deeper, I would love to be your guide in that as you step into your next level self. And these are where the limitless sessions that we are offering, that I'm offering through Uplift Lifestyle, are available. And so, if this is something that you are interested in booking, these are 60-minute sessions that are available right here. I'm going to drop the link into the chat if you are interested in booking, or if you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to just hear off chat and just in your own words how you're feeling right now, how that process was for you. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Mm, thank you, Kendall. I
Mm.
wanted to just share a few words about your limitless offer, but first, I just want to acknowledge you, Kendall, for guiding us. Very potent, very like the way that you can just take us there to those edges of all parts in such a short period of time is why you are doing what you're doing here in the community, and you're incredible. And to each of us who showed up today, the chat was so active. I was like had my eyes closed a lot of times, and I'd open my eyes and I was looking at everyone and just connecting to each of your auras and energies. And everyone is just bringing so much beauty. Even if you haven't had your camera on, I feel you and I see you, and I'm extremely proud of you for showing up and being honest about where you're at on that frequency scale. And one thing I want to say too is like the lower frequencies, they're not bad. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just the laws of the universe. How do you want to feel? Maybe you like feeling pride. Maybe you like feeling anger. Like sometimes it feels good to feel those things. It's just like, how long do you want to be in that? Like, I don't mind being a little sassy Sasquatch sometimes. I like it. And then I'm like, okay, that's like a fun little like moment, but I don't want to be there all the time. I want to be on a like frequency of where I want to be. And the limitless sessions that Kendall offers, they're, I was just doing the math on it because I'm like, these are so fucking good. We should probably raise the price, but we're not going to. But like, they're so good. The sessions are 188 Canadian. So I don't know what that is in euros, but it's 188 Canadian for the 60-minute experience with Kendall, where you can go through this in a one-on-one individualized way. And the thing that I just was doing math on, I was like, okay, what would that be like a day? Like if you broke down like $188 a day over a month, like say you were going to see Kendall once a month, that's $6 a day. Like I know we're all out here getting our $6 lattes. That's $6 a day to commit your highest timeline and to show up for that. And you may not feel like it's your right time to jump in this deep way, but if you do feel like it is, and you now know Kendall and you now know her vibe and you now know what's possible for you, book a session. One session will change everything, but this is the type of work that I really encourage you to show up for, whether that's once a month, whether that's once every season, summer, spring, fall, winter, whatever it is for you. I would definitely not sleep on this opportunity. It's potent, it's powerful, and you all deserve it. You all deserve it. And that's what we're doing with Uplift Lifestyle Facilitators is we're making it accessible. We're making it accessible. It's not accessible to work with me one-on-one for everyone, but we're making this powerful work accessible, and Kendall's bringing it to you. So yeah, I would say just don't sleep on it. Say yes to yourself, book a session, treat yourself. It's what is it? It's fucking May. Like, let's go. Treat yourself for the spring and yeah, and then reach out to, I want to hear how it was. Tell me about how it was. Reach out to me and tell me your experience because I'm curious because I know it's going to be powerful. Okay, that's all it from me. But thank you, Kendall. Thank you everyone for being here in this Uplift Lifestyle community, in Kendall's community, in your community. I know many of you are light workers. I know many of you are healers, business owners, creators. You're all so incredible. I see you all, I feel you all, and this is a powerful group, and I feel just shifted being here with each of you. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anyone feels called to share anything at all, yes, we would love to just hear your experience. If not, that is perfectly okay. Yes, thank you for this space. Thank you for being an angel. Thank you all for just sharing your time, sharing your energy, for trusting us on this journey. And although that was short, as you saw, the nervous system can respond. So if you're still feeling in any way dysregulated, please take a moment after this butterfly tap, take some deep breaths. Well, and let's close right now with a little bit of some down regulation. So breathing in deep, in through the nose, filling all the way up. On that exhale, you can tap or you can shake out. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, breathe in deep. Maybe even raise the arms. Exhale, let it go. And healing doesn't have to be so serious. Let it feel good. That's why we are here. And take that one last breath. Breathe in deep. Arms up. Ooh. Exhale, let it go. Woo. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you all so, so much. If anyone doesn't mind, I would love to take a photo because this is our first Uplift Lifestyle Masterclass, and this is like a core memory for me on my journey. So if you're okay being seen, just having your camera on, and I'll go ahead and snapshot that. Amazing. Eee. Thank you all so much. It was so nice to meet so many beautiful souls from Haley's community. If you are on the replay, please let us know how you like this. If you want to speak separately outside of this, please let me know. And that is all. Enjoy your day, drink water, get some sun on your face, and sending you all so, so much love. Bye.